recording on this computer. So I'm gonna fork over the SQL queries. All right, already done. I'm gonna git clone SQL queries. Where is it? SQL queries. And here's the README. Let's go through the README. In this challenge, you'll be writing a number of different SQL queries against your school database. Once you have working query, check your work against the database. For submissions for this challenge, touch a new file with the SQL statements you've written to get the desired results. So what I'm going to do is just literally copy all this. ls cd SQL queries ls clear. So I'm going to touch queries. How do I spell it? Oh, I'm losing my mind. ERI is this. SQL. So it's a SQL file. Code, queries. So I'm going to just paste all these queries in here. And I'm just going to make sure my school database is still up, working. So, or it even exists, because I do a lot of stuff. Yep, thank you. Like, uh-oh. All right, great. So I'm just gonna select, I just want to see all the tables in this database because I haven't been in it in a while. What's the command to do that? \D. So I have addresses, classes, enrollment, students. Great. So if I wanted to see just what's in the addresses table, \D, and then followed by the table name. So it's got integer, line 1, line 2, line 3 are city, state, zip code. Here are the data types and any constraints. I'm gonna quit, clear. So let's go for this, select all rows from the classes table. PSQL. So how do what's the query to select all the rows from the classes table? So it's select star from, followed by the table name, classes. Don't forget the semicolon. So, all right, classes, that looks right. So it is select star from classes. The next, select the name and credits from the classes table where the number of credits is greater than 3. Let's go with Kenneth. How do I select the name and credits from the classes table where the number of credits is greater than 3?
So select name, comma, credits from classes,
the name of the table,
where
credits, it's right here. No, this is the second one. Select the name.
Greater than 3. Oh, so greater than 3.
Greater than 3. Great. Yep. Does anybody have any questions on how to grab that? So the select, you can literally just grab the columns that you want from the databases, from the table, sorry. So select the name and credits. So how it's different from here, because this includes everything. I'm gonna actually turn off, or I'll turn on. Yeah, cool. \X turns off, on and off extended display. It's pretty. Does anybody have any questions on this one? Nope. All right. Go with Devin. What's the query for select, like grab all the rows from the classes table where credits is an even number? Devin?
You hear me?
Yep, gotcha. We can hear you. So select all rows from the classes table where credits is an even number.
Select
Select
little asterisk from classes
classes.
where
So where?
credits
How do we do this in Python if we want to just find even numbers?
Modulus 2.
yeah, if it's divided by 2, modulus 2
So credits modulus 2. What is that it?
equals 0.
Perfect. Great. Yep. So your credits, there's no odd numbers. So now we're getting a little more specific. Select all of Tiana's enrollments that she hasn't yet received a grade for.
Real quick question.
Yes.
For me. So the where, is that the only place that can take
Like
a math or statement? This is a better way to put that.
I don't.
Expressions, conditions. Yeah, you know.
I-
There were times I was getting that error and other things, so I was just curious what the overall rule was.
I think I haven't seen it in any other locations, but like you can pass like a entire SQL statement within other parts of here that may have a where statement. So like an entire SQL statement can be nested within another part,
Okay.
but that's where it gets kind of complex. But yeah. Generally, it's like where something equals something, or and you won't see any of that assessment.
Okay.
All right, select all of Tiana's enrollments that she hasn't received a grade for. Walk through this. Oh, where am I at? So select star from enrollments. Now what?
You have to
Where-
Join.
from students
Join students. Where what?
on the student on
Enrollments dot students.
yeah.
ID equals students dot ID. Where students dot first name. Tiana. Like that. Won't accept double quotes, single quotes, and so we can do and statements. We can do multiple conditional statements and enrollment dot grade is null. Is null. Uh-oh. Looks like enrollments dot grade is null.
Is there an easier way to say that? The is null part? Like as a Boolean, like just, like exclamation point and dot grade? Or is that
You've already joined it, so you can need enrollments. You
So
can just say grade.
and like grade is null.
Yeah. Because now the tables have been joined already.
Let's try it out.
Because I didn't use
Yeah, I guess.
because once the
Yeah.
tables are joined, it reads it.
Okay. So Dan was saying since the grades or the enrollments and students are already joined, you don't necessarily need the enrollments part. So you don't need enrollments.grade is null. So you think like equals or does not equal?
I wasn't sure if you can just put the exclamation point before grade instead of is null. I don't know if that works for SQL or not.
I don't think so. It might. No.
Okay.
Yeah. Never seen that before.
Also, remember how Jack and Jake, they actually specified that when you do null comparison, it corrupts the whole comparison. So if you do something equal to null, it will actually return you null.
Right.
So they said that you have to use is null or is not null.
Okay. So Beck was reminding kind of everyone that Jake and Jack mentioned that if you do a comparative operator to null, it returns null, which kind of corrupts your query. So you have to do like is null or is not null. So let's see. Is there, let's do all of Tiana's enrollments that she hasn't yet received a grade for, selected by her first name, not her student ID. I'm gonna
Select all from enrollments.
select all from enrollments, join students on. See, I don't like this enrollments. I don't like keep repeating that. Is there a way I could shorten that? What's that?
I mean, with this one, because we want the class name, should we be doing it from the enrollments given to start?
Think this way.
You can do an alias,
Okay. I mean, I think we could do it either way. Okay, sorry.
like space E, for example.
So
We use
I-
like as keyword, as E or something like that.
yeah, my question was, how do we like shorten this? And Beck mentioned that we can do an alias. So do we do as or just can we just do as
You can do this,
E or EN?
Or works. As students, you can also alias as ST.
Just as ST?
Yep.
Do I have to do as?
You can if you want, but
It assumes yes. If you don't-
I'm just gonna not use it, the as part right now on. And so now every time I reference enrollments, I can do EN students dot ID equal ST dot ID. So where ST dot first name equals. Did I already do this one?
Yeah, this one's similar to this.
Yeah,
So-
we went ahead.
Oh. Did I-
Yeah,
did I go ahead?
You could have just done it by
Oh, yeah.
student ID. This is it that you built up towards it. One using just your student ID. The next one.
Gotcha.
You needed
So we could.
So it's actually it's like
shorten
the
answer 9 and move 10 to.
yeah.
Down
So
as well.
this is like a step 3 where it builds each time asking
Oh.
for some. Like the next one's gonna ask for the class name rather than just
Okay.
the enrollment.
yeah. See when I
got confused, I got ahead of myself because that's what I was thinking.
so here if you were like thinking ahead of like the proper way, because if you didn't know what the student ID was, it would be student ID and grade is or enrolled dot grade is null. It's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, that one right before it should probably specify asking to use student ID.
Yeah.
As part of
So to shorten it, you just have to put the first two characters. Is there like any kind of like method to that, like to shorten it?
So right here,
Yeah. Is it like only the first two letters, or can it be something longer or one letter?
no, it could be like as many letters I think as you want.
You put just a totally different word there altogether. So if you wanted to.
This is a question I had yesterday. Can you make an alias 2 words?
Why would you want to make an alias to it? I think it could be like underscore. That's how you would.
Because it also shows out in the results.
I think you want to do
Select
like
the aliases.
you kind of want to keep everything together as far as like snake case, like
I mean, 'cause
underscore.
you can,
Some databases do allow you to put spaces between words, but it's highly discouraged because if you have to port over to another database, you will have a messy interface.
So yeah, best practice is to keep them connected by like an underscore if you want a space there.
it was,
Oh geez, I'm gonna do this again.
but the alias
Select.
will change the printout, by the way.
Right. Select star from enrollments, ES or EN, joins students st on en dot student underscore id equals st dot id, where st dot first name equals Tiana, and en dot grade is null. Hopefully that works. Why did that?
Oh, the spelling for Tiana, I think it's got two
You're
N's.
spelling the name wrong. Yeah.
Two N's.
And that's why.
There we go. So another thing, aliases. Use that. Just gonna keep going down. So all of Tiana's enrollments that she hasn't yet received a grade for, selected by her first name, not her. Oh, did we just do that one? With the
Yeah, that's
class.
With the class names, you can know one of the
So all of Tiana's enrollments that she hasn't yet received a grade for, selected by her first name, not her student ID, with the class name included. So how do we do this? Select. What do we want?
First name.
Enrollments. I'm just gonna do star classes dot name students dot. I'm just gonna just students dot first name from enrollments join students on enrollments dot student ID equals students dot ID join classes on enrollments dot class ID equals classes dot ID, where students dot first name equals Tiana, and enrollments dot grade is null. It's a big one. So I got first name. I added more in there than I needed to, but I just wanted to get a bunch of as much information that I can for that student.
Tom?
Yes.
So when you're selecting multiple fields from different tables,
Mm-hmm.
and you're doing the from part, does it matter what table you're getting it from, or is there like, how do you know what table?
If they have, if they are associated with one another in kind of any way, like if they both share an ID or a student ID, that's when you want to join those two. And then, so like enrollments and students kind of are interconnected here, and then you can join classes and enrollments, but you can't join, but like classes. Classes and students, are they related in any way? Or no?
So
You can actually check.
No, they're not.
Oh, what's going on?
You have to go through.
Oh, yeah. So you have to go through enrollments. So if you did like classes, join students, it would know on like where it would know where to look at like the columns, because they would never equal one another. There's no columns that would.
Well, so in this case, like we're doing select from all from enrollments, one from classes, one from students.
Yeah.
Could you just say all that from students or all that from classes, or does it
Oh,
like
From-
select?
yeah, I did mine from classes and it worked.
So it
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
So I did, yeah, then I double
So you-
joined enrollments on classes.
Yeah.
And then I did students on enrollments, so I joined and it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So as long as they link from can be anything.
yeah. Yeah. So there's multiple ways to do the same query. So
Okay.
so if they're from, it doesn't have to be from enrollments. It could be. Would you say, Dan, you did it from
From classes.
from classes?
I did from
students.
And then we did someone from, and Alex did from students. So, great. All students before 1986 who have a T in their first or last name. So I'm gonna clear that. Go back in. So we have select star from students where birth date less than string 1986 0101
You can do it without the dashes.
and first name. How do I check to see whether a first name has a T in it or not?
Modules before and after T.
So first name, what is it?
Like.
Is it like or I like?
I like. It can be a first letter. It can be capitalized.
So I like. What's the difference between like and I like?
Case.
Case sensitive. I like. So percent T, percent, or last name. I like. Same thing. Percent T, percent, oh, percent.
We can't group those together. The same way.
So I like the case insensitive or case sensitive. It's just like insensitive. It doesn't matter whether it's uppercase or lowercase.
Which had we just done it like and used the lowercase t that we put in there, we wouldn't get either C. It's actually big that.
So if we just did like, so you wouldn't get anything.
Unless you do.
Unless
Well,
you-
you made it capital T, or you put
Which I a very long way.
All right, now how do we grab the average age of all students? Select AVG, which is, what is AVG? So, parentheses. So we can do age, another thing. Select, and do current date, comma birth date from students. So current date in SQL Postgres or Postgres.
So you don't have to do this select.
Current date function. Current date, select current date. The following example shows to use the current date function to get the actual current date. Interesting. So, so current, is it underscore date? Or do I have to actually do the select current date?
I just do current date.
So there's the actual current date. I'm going to go through these pretty quickly so we can move on. I want to get you clear. Addresses that have space in their name. So I've got select all from students. You can join. Oh no. Join addresses on where address.id equals students.address.id. There's addresses.city I like with percent side followed by space, followed by another percent side, so front and back. students and their addresses that live in a city where more than one word.
That's the one we just did.
Okay, what did I do here? That's what we did. So the first one, addresses that have space in their name, is select everything from addresses where city I like, just a space in their name.
If you're looking for just a space, why would you need I like over like?
Let's try that out.
Good question.
I think I just kind of I'm used to doing like. I kind of just, it's what I use by default. So I think you could use both of them. Clear. All right, the average number of credits for classes offered in the school. How do we do this? Average number. Select average credits as, what is this as keyword? Or as word? As average credits from classes.
So it will display it with the AVG credits.
So it actually has like a column header as average credits. If I didn't, got rid of that, it would just say average. So I don't actually know what this is averaging. So we can do this as, so we can actually know what kind of data we're actually grabbing.
Can you round it right in the SQL statement? So or no?
How do we round? What's the round? Is there a round?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think there is. There around because of parentheses.
So we can do round.
Oh wait, I'm thinking.
I don't even know.
Oh, Python.
No, oh, round.
Then you have to put the number of digits.
There is a round.
So there is a round. So it goes to 3, but then I think I can do a parentheses by 2 and then rounds it to the hundreds.
Yeah.
Let's do 1. Yeah, that's more like it.
Almost any function that Python has for like rounding numbers and stuff, Postgres has it plus one. So
Even said pretty much any, what was it? Any method that Python has
like for rounding numbers and stuff, they
for rounding numbers and stuff, Postgres more than likely has it.
and like you can even do what's called casting, type casting. So you can take a number and cast it as a money, or you can cast a number as a string.
Was everyone's experience with money reliable? No. Okay. I mean, not in real life, but like.
I'm not saying
Generally
like
speaking.
if you do anything with integers, you might want to keep it as numeric. And if you want to display it in like numerical format with the separators, then money would be something you would want to cast it as when you're pulling it out just for display.
Okay. So Stephen was saying, can you repeat that kind of louder for the remotes?
Oh, sorry. So if you're working with money in the database, money is not really reliable for like all the functions and math and stuff. So just keep it in numeric form, but when you want to pull it and do a view of it, you can actually use money and it'll actually put your separators and stuff like that in there for you so it looks presentable.
And when you say money, do you actually use like money?
Yeah, the word money.
Money, SQL, Postgres.
Postgres, it actually is just money type.
Ah, cool. So when you're grabbing data using money, it's good to keep it in numeric form, like as a number, as an integer, and then when you're displaying it, you can convert it back to a money type. So on the front. So first and last name of all students have received an A. Select first name, select like first name, last name from students. I'm going to do it as ST, join enrollments, doing it as EN on EN student ID equals st.id where EN grade equals. There we go. Each student's first name and last name and the total number of credits they've enrolled in. Oh, what did I just do? Quit. So select, does this work? Uh-oh. As some credits, as ST.
Semicolon.
Where at?
No, sorry, never mind.
Does not work? Hold on. Let me see it. Select. Name, some credits, as some credits from students, ST, join enrollments, EN on EN's dot students underscore ID equals ST dot ID, join classes, CL on enrollments dot class ID equals CL dot ID. Oh, and then group by. Is that right? Group by. I think I had. What does group by do?
It orders it.
It removes duplicates.
Oh, that's right.
It removes duplicates? Yeah? Group by first name, so it removes duplicate first name. All right. Keep going. Total number of credits each student has received a grade for. Keep going. So select first name, some credits as some credits from students join enrollments, where a grade is not null, group by the first name, kind of very similar. Total number of credits each student has received. Did I just do that one? They've enrolled in. Oh, the total number. Oh, I think that was this one, right?
Yeah. Grade is not null.
Grade is not null. I do enrolled in. Sorry, jumping ahead. So, is this the one I just did? All right, let's just move on. All enrollments, including the class name. So select all from enrollments as EN, join classes CL on. All enrollments, including the class name. So here are all the enrollments. Here's the class name. Students born between 1982 and 1985, inclusive of each. Select everything from students where birth date is greater than or equal to 1982, January 1st, and birth date is less than or equal to December 31st, 1985.
Are you able to do the between and then not get the equal to less than?
Was it between? Like, between?
It would be where birth date between, I think, then the date and the date.
On. From students where.
Isn't it where birth date between?
Yeah.
Between.
And then your starting date.
And then your ending date.
Starting date
inclusive
and like this, or like this. Great. So there's two ways. I'm gonna do that way, or using the between query. And so how do I insert a new enrollment? So insert into enrollments, student ID, class ID, and grade. Is that right? Select ID from students where the first name equals Andre. Select ID. So insert. So select ID from classes where physics is 101 or 218, and insert an A there. So insert into is how you insert stuff. So insert into, followed by the table name, name of the columns, and then you want to select where you kind of want to insert everything. Select the ID from students, where the student first name, like where it equals Andre, and then followed by select ID from classes, where the name equals physics, followed by an A. So right here, the student ID equates to this query. And then the class ID, that's where the column, we want it to equal here, like where you actually want it to, and then the actual grade. So you'll have a query for those three different table or columns. Yep.
So you know how you have the select, like the selects within the select?
Yep.
How come you couldn't just say students dot first name equal Andre? Like, how come you have to do select ID from students?
So let's see. Let's do another one. So instead of select ID, just do select from.
It would just be students dot first name equals Andre. I mean, I don't know if it works. I'm just wondering why it has to be something.
Select students dot first name, because we actually have to generate where we want. So select students.
And this is part of the insert line?
It's just confusing because when I read it like that, it's like saying I want to select that before it's even created. Because so the original statement was, yeah, I don't even know what it was. It's like select ID from students where first name equals Andre. Like to me, that's like saying instead of inputting what it is, it's like saying here I want you to select this ID that I haven't created yet. Is named Andre. So it's like you're selecting something that's not made. Like that's what you're putting into the thing.
That's what
You guys know what I'm saying?
You'll.
I don't know how it's the.
So that's what we're looking at. That right there, it goes, so parentheses, order operations,
Yeah.
it does parentheses first before it does the outside select. That's a subquery.
So like, I don't know. It seems like
The confusion is like you're requesting information before it's there.
yeah. So it's like generating something before it's there and then putting it into where it should belong, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Parentheses,
Yeah.
order operations.
Yeah, that's
very confusing. I think Jake kind of said that in his thing, like how the SQL, when you order it in a, like when you were writing it, it's like that, but when he reads it, he kind of reads it backward, kind of like the, I guess the from part first, and from that select.
So it's like reads it in reverse almost, like
yeah, almost like he's like that's how he thinks it, because it is kind of like out of order when we write it.
Yeah.
I think it's if you check Slack, I had that in there, where it actually tells you exactly how it does it. So when you write it select from where group by having order by, but when SQL reads it reads it from where group by having select
insert on.
order by.
I didn't hear any of that. So.
Oh, sorry. So when you write it as select from where.
Select from where.
Group by having order by. That's the syntax for that.
So let's like Google this if we're just like, I don't know how to insert a brand new value into a very specific area in SQL. So how to insert new value into SQL Postgres database.
It's almost like giving the select thing two different things.
Insert copy to. Insert copying values. Insert Postgres. I'm just looking through. Insert into table name as whatever. column name, default, where I can try to get back to you on specifically why it's, is it all right there? Is that like the
order
of operations within SQL?
is
Yeah.
you do select from where, group by, having, order by.
Having
That's
order.
the way you do it. But when SQL actually reads it, it says from where,
From where,
group by, having, select, order by.
So having select, order by, like, the select statement's almost like the last part statement that's
So it
actually being
doesn't select
executed.
anything until-
So then, the way SQL runs, it'll actually edit it.
It doesn't do it doesn't do select first.
Yeah.
You write it first, but it doesn't do select first.
I just thought it was kind of weird sometimes.
Yeah.
It kind of,
So this is generally how the most complicated inserts that I've generally used are like this. Insert into the name and then like the values.
I can get on board with that.
That's what I did. Just
Yeah. All right, let's take a 9-minute break. Let's come back and do City of Chicago real quick. We're not going to run through all the SQL queries, but we'll get the majority of it set up and then run through maybe a couple of them.
Is our assessment on par with?
Yeah, you'll have to do some inserting. So
That's the
I'll go over it.
I'll just start writing. If you upload that to GitHub, it will save me for the assessments.
No, yeah.
It's just like select. It doesn't actually select anything.
how you write it, not how you read it. Yeah, it's like really confusing. Like you're picking out this person, but it's not created yet. Like in my head, and then you're putting it into Oh yeah. I just don't know.
It is confusing, and like SQL is kind of like that, and I hate it.
Yeah, I know like the very basics of SQL queries.
Yeah, I think once you start getting into the multiple joins and then cross-referencing tables, that's
Cross products,
and then the
cross products are fun.
inserting different points in different tables. That's
Just wait till you get to relational algebra.
relational. I don't want to. I think I'm done with school. It's good, but
I remember I did a rounding on my column, and I didn't do as to rename it, and he didn't give me points for any of it. I'm like, what? It's right. He's like, but it wasn't, the column wasn't named. It was the function's name. No points. I'm like, oh my God.
Cold?
It is.
that's in your spelling.